Hey guys, what is happening? This is TheSmooth Spy, and right now I'm talking about virtual reality. Why? Because Oculus, the guys at Oculus have recently announced that they will be shipping their first consumer version of their VR headset in Q1 2016. So, up until March. So, that is fairly snazzy, but they were originally going to have it ship by the end of 2015. In fact, they said we would be disappointed if we didn't ship by holiday 2015. That's actually a quote from them way back in the day. So they are behind. And quite honestly, it could hurt them because you're seeing a lot of companies flood into the VR. It's like the new smartphone thing. Once Apple got their their foot in the door with the iPhone, all of a sudden everybody and their mom was making a smartphone, and that's how it went. Now, it's going to be interesting. What you're having to look at now is the images of their first consumer model. It's different from the development kits that we've seen in the past, and that makes a whole lot of sense. But what I want to talk about is which virtual reality headset will dominate, because there's going to be one. I don't think it's going to be like it could coexist, but really there's always going to be one that's above the other. It's always had as everything else. It's not equally balanced. There's always one over the other. Sure, the other one could be fine. There's always going to be one that more people are going to prefer. So let's talk about the competition. First up, you have the main competition. What I believe is your Valve HTC Revive or Vive. I just call it the Vive, but this one looks awesome because it's the one that I've heard a lot of people say. Of course, I haven't actually had one myself because I'm an ordinary type of a person. Just because I was started on here, but anyway, I've heard nothing but great things coming from it, and I trust Valve because Steam is great, Half-Life is great. So put me in Half-Life in Steam in a virtual reality, you got me sold. But we have no confirmation if there'll be anything like that, but I do trust Valve to make a quality thing. So, and plus, with that you have your spatial recognition going about. So, like if you walk around the room, it'll be able to tell where you are in the room, and if you're gonna walk into something, which is extremely cool. And if they can work that into games, that would be awesome because you don't have to worry about having to, if you want to walk in the game, you don't have to worry about trying to get some weird Kinect-based type of thing or wear some type of suit. You just walk around. The issues I see what that is. Say you want to walk across a field like in a game. How are you supposed to? You'll walk a few feet and then you're about to hit a wall. If they have it where you can only play in a very small area, I don't see that be going where a lot of people would want it to go. Be able to just roam around a big open world rather than just being in one room, which would be fine for some games, sure. But for a lot of games, you want to go around and explore. I don't know how they're going to work that with tricks. Perhaps they'll have some type of trick. I don't know, like you walk to the wall and then you hit a button and then all of a sudden you can walk farther because you have to turn around. I don't have any idea. That is for the engineers and the software designers at Valve to figure out, and everybody else who's working with virtual reality. But the main thing is it's coming out holiday 2015 this year, so we will be getting our hands on it. Now I'm going to be buying one virtual reality headset the day it comes out, and I'm going to do a full review and talk about it on my channel, so make sure you subscribe for that. I'm not sure which one I'm going to get though, because I need more information on the consumer version of both the Oculus Rift and the Vive, because really what it comes down to is to those two about the specs, because definitely by the end of this year we should have some real hard specs on the Oculus Rift in its final form, and we'll probably see a whole bunch of 83, which is very cool. Now there are some other competitors for the virtual reality area, and the thing with these they're not really like main competitors. They've got some lag and they're just not really right, and in my opinion they're a bad taste in virtual reality area, because there are going to be those who are going to try something, for example like a Gear VR. It's fine for a little thing, but I mean, come on, if you're looking for a real gaming experience, you're not going to slap a phone into your thing and go virtual reality. No, because that's running on the phone's power. It doesn't have the GPU power to power real 3D immersive games. It's just going to be for, look, I'm watching a video in virtual reality, which is fine and dandy for all that, but there are going to be those who are like, oh, well, I've tried that yeah, VR, and no, it just is terrible. Just VR is a waste. Don't go buy it. Just go stick with the screens. But you don't realize you have to try a real thing. Oculus and Vive, they're the real deal as far as I'm aware of. If there's going to be anything that's going to be good for VR, it's going to be from those guys. Now, which one will do it better, we'll have to see. We could get a leapfrog type thing with phones. Like, one guy comes up with the best one, but then in the next year, or even like 10 months, oh, there's the next best one. Hopefully that won't be the thing that are really expensive. I don't think everyone wants to upgrade headsets that quickly. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, what Oculus needs to do is they need to figure out their controller setup, because the Vive has those awesome Steam controller cut in half wand thingies. It's like part PlayStation Move and part a Wiimote, so, and a part Steam controller. They've got those, which is 1-to-1, which is incredibly hard to do, because for a while I was watching the Razer, not the Razer Hydra, but the one after that, the STEM system from Hydra. No, not from Hydra. It was from Razer. No, it was from Hydra. Yeah, it's for guys who made the Razer Hydra. 6 Sense. That's it. Yeah, 6 Sense. Yeah, what those guys did was really, really cool, and I was impressed. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy me an Oculus Rift. I'm gonna buy me those, and we'll be good. But the Vive's coming with something just as good, if not a little bit better, because it's Valve. So that's really cool. What Oculus needs to do, and they've been talking about this, is input. It's the thing they need to work on. They need an accurate and natural way to interact with the environment, because as humans we want to interact with stuff. We can find and look around stuff. We're going to want to interact though with the world, and using a controller just is not right. You need some form of like getting your hands, I don't know if it's going to be with gloves or like holding something like what the Vive did, but it needs to work well. So that's what the Oculus really needs to do. And then the final thing, and this is probably the most important thing at the end of the day after you get the hardware out of the way, software, because software sells hardware. It works time and time again. You don't buy a console because, oh, it's a PlayStation. No, you buy it because of what PlayStation has to offer as far as exclusives. You want the next Uncharted, God of War, all that type of stuff. You want it because you can't get it anywhere else. That's why you buy the PlayStation. PlayStation does not. The PlayStation by itself will not sell. I mean, why would you buy a PlayStation if that's all it was? You buy the PlayStation for the games. You're gonna buy a Oculus Rift or a Vive for the software. It needs to be really well done. It needs to be made for it in mind. You can't just port Half-Life over to it and call it done, which is cool, and I can't wait to try it out. But it's not what it needs to be. If they're gonna make it, they need to remake the whole Half-Life. Ooh, that'd be so cool if they made the Rift. If they remade the whole first Half-Life with VR in mind from the ground up. Like, looking at you, Black Mesa. So that would be awesome. But so that'd be a really cool mod though. But still, what you really need to do is make a game from the ground up around VR, because that's how you're only going to get the really first-hand type feeling for it, and that's what needs to happen. Now Valve is in a really good spot with the Vive, because they're Valve. They have games at their disposal where they can work. I remember there was a Portal demo. That's probably all it will be though, unless Valve actually wants to make a game again. Valve, I have a hate and love relationship with you, but it's mainly love. Steam sales. But so it would really come down. Now, what I haven't mentioned yet is the two other ones that people are like, well, what about these two? That is the Sony project Morpheus and Microsoft's HoloLens. I'm not going to talk about HoloLens because one thing, that's going to be way more expensive than any of these are going to be, so it's not going to be for the average gamer like, yeah, let's fire it up and play games. And two, it's AR, not VR, augmented reality versus virtual reality, so it's not technically the same thing. Yeah, that'll be you're walking around your house on Skype on the wall and doing stuff like that, which is incredibly cool and just awesome, and I want one. But it's not going to be for gaming, though. I have heard about some horror games that are going to be using augmented reality. That sounds terrifying that I won't go near, because I can't play horror games. I just can't. Ugh. So, now with Sony Project Morpheus, that's going to be really interesting to see. What I'm curious is they say that they're going to get 120 frames with it. Now, having a solid frame rate is very important for virtual reality if you weren't aware of it, because you need good, I believe the Oculus found that you need a solid 75 frames per second just to keep the motion sickness away, but I believe that and Vive are going to bump up to 90 FPS, which is solid. I wouldn't go any lower than that, but the guys over at something like 120. So we will have to see, because see and it's supposed to be, it has to stay at 1080p, right? Because you need those pixels, because it's gonna be so close to your face. And eventually, I really would like to see the Vive or the Oculus be above 1080p. Perhaps 1440p. 4K would be way too demanding right now on the hardware. You would need like a couple of Titans to run games at that, but because you need two screens and both have to be at 60 FPS, so that's for one for each eye, so that's 120 FPS at 4K. Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, probably you could run like some of the basic stuff, but yeah, so that's not going to be for the everyman. But anyways, the Sony project Morpheus is going to be at 1080p, 120 frames per second. I'm kind of concerned about the quality of the graphics. I've heard like it's kind of fuzzy and it looks PlayStation 3-ish, whatever that means. So, you know, we'll have to see. But one thing that they do very well is that they already have the PlayStation Move controllers in it, and I've heard that those work very well. So it's kind of like the Vive. So it's kind of like that except for consoles. I really don't think we're going to see as big of a virtual reality thing on consoles. It's first going to make its way on the PC. That's where things are really going to be innovative and the edge of the line, at the edge, at the bleeding edge for a while. It's not going to be for a while until it goes back down to the consoles, and it'll be a more limited experience. It will be a higher quality in a sense, because it'll be very well controlled, because you don't have to worry about, oh, you got this card and that card and this mismatch and all that stuff. It'll be very controlled, and that's what's not nice about having a closed-off ecosystem, like for example Apple does with their stuff and with consoles. But on the PC, it's all open, Wild West, you know, wah 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 wah. So, but that's what's cool. You get a lot of exciting things out here. So it'll be interesting to see how it is. I mean, I know that a bunch of games are going to be modded to work with VR. Well or not, it'll happen, and there'll be a bunch of smaller games that'll be going their way onto the PC. So I feel that if you want to get into VR, the PC is the place to be. Be there first, get the best experience as long as you have the hardware. Then it'll go down to the consoles, like with a bunch of other stuff like higher resolution. I mean, we've had 1080p on the PC for years. That's just been the standard, and now consoles are just now getting 1080p. So we'll have to see. And apparently they're going to work something with Xbox One and HoloLens. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. I guess you wear it and then you stare at the TV and stuff comes at you. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. So anyway, guys, thanks for this. I know this was a really long video. You're hearing me rant on and on about all this stuff. I just really wanted to talk about this. I love VR, and I've been so excited. I've been watching all this stuff. And if you guys like this stuff, I'll make a bunch more of these types of videos as more information comes out. And of course, I will be getting a VR headset, either the Vive or the Oculus Rift. When they come out and I will do a review, I'll talk about anything. I'll answer any of you guys' questions you may have. And yeah, I haven't decided which one I'm going to get, though. That'll depend on, I guess, after we hear more information about both. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to hear more from me. That is TheSmooth Spy. And everybody, take care.